Hi, my name is Barry Murphy. I'm the Managing Director of Sage in Ireland. Thank you for joining us today on this Fireside, which is about empowering SMEs to embrace innovation and take financial control to drive resilience and recovery. Make sure to join the conversation online on Twitter and Facebook at Business Show Ireland, and be sure to use the hashtag Rebooting Ireland. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our two panelists, and they are Teresa Venables from Shop in Ireland and Deirdre O'Keefe from Burdy Bookkeeping. Teresa, Deirdre, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
If I could start with you, Teresa, Shop in Ireland was set up as a result of the pandemic. Tell us more about the business and why you started it.
That's right. So I guess last year when we all went into lockdown the first time round in March, I just found myself, like everybody else, buying stuff for my garden and pots and getting all into our spring cleaning. And I was just on overseas websites ordering stuff for my garden when I live 2 kilometers from a local garden centre that's got everything I need, but just happened to be closed. And I found it a bit frustrating, or at least I was kind of very conscious of the fact that even from an environmental, never mind a business perspective, it was not very, it didn't seem to be the right thing to do. So I just had this, when it came, we came out of lockdown, and then we were kind of heading back into a lockdown, or it looked like we were in October. I just became aware of small businesses everywhere now having to shut their doors coming into the Christmas shopping season. And I just thought they need something quick. They need a quick solution. I started by setting up a Facebook group, and I set it up in the middle of October. So it was really kind of last minute. And it just gave them an instant platform that they were familiar with. They found an audience straight away. I was able to kind of gather an audience quite quickly. And it just took off at, a phenomenal rate. I had 100,000 members in the group in 4 weeks. And it's since grown to over 200,000 members, and thousands and thousands of businesses. It saved their Christmas essentially, because they now had an audience or a customer base that they just didn't have when their stores were closed. So it quickly developed into a website. The website launched in mid-November, and that really was off the back of the demand and the need for a secure place for customers to buy, where there's payment security, there's a legitimate business at the other end. They're not just sending money to some stranger on Facebook and so on. So that's kind of how it came about, and that's where we're at really with our website.
Fantastic. Disruptive and innovation all in one. It's great. And Deirdre, Burdy Bookkeeping is at the coalface when it comes to supporting a business through the pandemic. Have there been impacts on your own business as you've tried to help others?
Absolutely. I mean, the 12th of March last year, I would say minimum 50% of my clients were affected. Their turnover, their income stopped overnight, but the bills didn't stop coming in. And I found myself kind of having to rush into survivor mode and just make sure I was in the office even more than I was, if that was even possible, because I found it incredibly important to be there as a support for my own clients, because they were lost. I don't know if you recall, this happened and nobody knew what was going on. Was this going to last a few weeks, a few months? I don't think anyone envisaged that we'd be here a year later. So I really had to throw myself into the mode of an aid, somebody here to go digging for answers to questions my clients didn't even know they had. What was there to support them? How were they going to navigate through this? Let alone try to discuss things with their employees, because there was these new schemes coming up. It was TWSS, and it was constantly evolving. And were we doing it right? Was it the right thing to do? Do we just lay them off? So it was, I have to say, I worked so hard from last March. And I suppose in many ways you could say I worked for free, but I felt it was really important for me to be there for my clients, just to be their support, because if my clients stay in business, I stay in business. And that was essentially the way I looked at it. Their survival is my survival. So that was it, really.
And was there ever a time when you realized that the challenges from COVID, they weren't going to go away? This was going to be more long term?
I definitely see that now. I have some clients that have still not even opened their doors, the clients in the hospitality industry. And even though there are a lot of supports available, and the government is trying to give them subsidies to keep them going, and a lot of people are kind of pivoting to doing, like, say, takeaway meals, but for some it's just not viable, and I'm not sure if some of them are actually going to make it through. And I also think consumer behavior is changing. I don't know if people are going to go into a bar or their hairdressers as free will, that they did before. Everyone kind of has this concept now. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's kind of holding back on what they do, and clients are afraid to open up, even just doing their takeaways, because they're like, is this even financially viable? So that'd be my take on the situation they're in at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the disruption is longer term, definitely.
Absolutely.
And you both have made significant changes to your own respective businesses. Shop in Ireland has evolved from a Facebook page to an e-commerce platform, and Burdy has rebranded. I mean, what prompted these changes? Teresa, maybe we'll go to you on that.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I suppose I ultimately wanted to make it easy for small businesses to find customers online and to make it easy for the transaction to happen. So make it easier for them to sell. You need a website to do that, where the payment structure is in place, the delivery method is in place. But it was a bit of a transition for a lot of businesses. Shopping online, or selling online, sorry, was something that a lot of these businesses hadn't done before. And there was really good government supports that came in very quickly regarding grants for websites and that. But a website doesn't guarantee you an audience. And when I set up initially, I was looking at just trying to get these businesses over the line for Christmas. And in particular, we had a huge amount of craft makers that would rely almost their entire year's income on the Christmas craft market and gift market. And with markets all suddenly stopped, they literally had nowhere to sell, and they had already invested in the stock to sell and had nowhere to sell it. So I guess the reason to move to a website was to make that transaction so that when anybody, whether you're on Facebook or wherever you are, that when you go to Google and you're searching for an item to buy, that our website will come up, and no matter how small you are, you've got a facility to shop on or to sell online without having to create a website, without really having to learn a whole new technology, because we're there with the support. We teach them how to present, how to sell, how to set up, and we do most of that work for them. And then they've just got an instant new audience worldwide, not just within Ireland.
And what do you see as the most common challenges for small businesses and retailers now?
I think the most common challenge we come across is the skill set isn't there. There's a completely different skill set in selling online than there is to a market. And a lot of these sellers they're so good in their stores, customer facing, they thrive on that environment, but selling online is a completely different beast. And we're trying to teach them, individually. We're trying to help them with even how they describe their product, because they're used to people touching and feeling products before buying. So they don't put in the size of the product, for example, so you can't judge things from a picture like that. Also, how they take their picture, how they present the product, knowing how much it costs, because shipping is a whole new area to these customers as well, because they're not used to having to post stuff. So just working out how the best way they can get their products packaged and shipped for a reasonable price, all of that there's a huge learning curve there. And I think that was the main obstacle. Again, we're helping them with all of that stuff, but I'm sure there's other platforms, but having your own website doesn't necessarily instantly teach you all of this stuff. So I think there's a lot of training needs to happen to get successful online selling up and going.
That's a good shout. And Deirdre, similar type of question. What do you see is the most common challenges for your clients?
I would agree with you. All of a sudden, everyone became faceless. We couldn't meet with people face to face. And I don't know, perhaps Teresa is like me as well. I thrive off, the feelings you're getting from being face to face with a client. And I suppose I was complacent as a business owner. I've been in business 14 years, and didn't really put a whole lot of stock into my own web presence. Certainly never networked, you know, LinkedIn, anything like that, I wasn't very active on. But all of a sudden, I felt the need that I had to put myself out there. I had to, you know, try to interact with people on e-commerce levels. So like Teresa said, I availed of like the trading online vouchers, the local enterprise office I found to be a total lifeline for every aspect of my business. I now know things about copywriting. I wouldn't have even known that word a year ago. So that's kind of what spurred the change of name to Burdy, because like I said, I was Premier Accounts Assist for 14 years, a name I picked out of the air when I was 25 years old, because I was what sounds professional and corporate. But I think people are now on the back of COVID, and let's say that this is a positive of COVID, people now are more accepting of the person behind the business, not the name or the facade. We're used to children popping up in Zoom, you know, meetings. I wouldn't be surprised if one pops up now in a few minutes. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to kind of echo more of me. You know, I'm not a hardcore corporate person. I provide a fabulous service to people, but you know, let's keep it casual, because I think that is the benefits of COVID. We're all kind of a bit more laid back, and family is part of your business, and that's to me one of the biggest benefits to COVID. I don't know if either of you would agree.
Yeah,
I think
totally. Sorry,
go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, I really much wanted to kind of, yeah, just totally agree with what you said there, Deirdre. It's a really good point about getting to know the person, and you see their whole family wandering in the background on your Zoom calls and that, you know. It's really helped with one of the reasons why the Facebook initially and then the website became so successful so quickly is that every single seller was able to tell their story.
Yeah.
So when people bought the product, they were buying the whole story. They knew where that came from, how this business came about, because some businesses came about because of COVID and so on. So it was really, really helped with the sales and just the whole kind of feel good behind the purchase for the customer.
Yeah.
I'm hosting this from my spare bedroom, so you're bang on, Deirdre.
Beautiful room, beautiful room. Absolutely.
Deirdre, from your own experience then, what should small businesses be doing to boost their business and to help them become more resilient and you know, to future challenges?
Yeah, okay, well, there's so much they can be doing. I suppose the biggest one is make sure that their presence online, first and foremost, that it's down, it's nailed. And like Teresa said, sell your brand story, you know, make yourself stand out, because we're realizing now there's a whole lot of people in the same sector across the board on LinkedIn, on Google, everywhere. So I think that's the first side from just the social aspect. The second one is make sure that you kind of get a grip on your finances now. Just know, you know, have a look, see what your sales are going to be. Get lean. I keep saying to all my clients, now is the time to really look at your order book and look at those clients that are making you money versus the ones that are just costing you money. And I know it's very drastic to suggest to a person in these times to shed a client, but at the end of the day, a client that's not making you money or is losing you money, that's of no benefit. So I would say the lean process method is an absolute go-to for everybody. And then the other one is get your tech sorted. We're all getting better now. We're all good at Zoom. And I'm finding my clients now, they're much more willing and open to move to online platforms. Like Sage is fantastic, auto entry. Gone are the days where the clients will call over with a big bag of invoices. So they're getting much better in that, in automating everything. Their invoices are going out automatically to clients, like by email. There's payment facilities now. So I think, you know, just embrace the changes that have come in. But I'll keep reiterating, get lean. I don't know, Teresa, you probably wouldn't have that in your business because, you know, you've good clients.
No, I think every business needs to think that way. I think especially after the last year, I've had businesses that sell through my platform who, you know, they completely changed their business and for the better. They're not looking back at all. Yeah. You know, if everything opened up tomorrow back to normal, they would be forever changed, and their business would be forever more efficient. You know, lots and lots of things have, you know, they've had to narrow down their focus really, and as you said, like lose the the stuff that isn't making you a profit, and just be a bit more ruthless, unfortunately, but that's how you succeed.
Absolutely.
So we've spoken quite a bit now about, you know, the last 12 months and a lot of the change that have happened within your business and your clients and how you've tackled new opportunities. For the next 12 months now, are you optimistic? I'll address this to either one of you guys. Are you optimistic, or what's your gut feel on what's going to happen in the next 12 months? Teresa, we'll start with you.
You mind? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm very optimistic for the next 12 months. Like, I'm enthusiastic about what I'm seeing happening. The feedback I'm getting from all the small businesses, like we have 1,000 small businesses selling through our platform at the moment. And the feedback I'm getting from them is that they just, you know, they've now seen, they were reluctant to go online, you know, and they've now seen it as an opportunity, that they didn't realize how it actually benefited their business, would benefit their business. You know, I'll give you a quick small example. One of the sellers makes products for Christmas markets. Again, she'd be one of these people who would sell 80% of her turnover would be in lead up to Christmas. And she said to me that, you know, the idea of going and selling online and the markets being closed devastated her, and she just didn't know what to do. So she came on with us, and she's now realized that, she said she used to spend months making products, trying to figure out what people might like or not like. But now she's selling to made to order items on the website. So now every item she makes has already been paid for in advance, has been ordered and specified to that requirement. So she has no waste product like she would have at a market. You know, she can afford to sell them a little bit cheaper because she's got less waste, and she's making more money herself. So, and there's absolutely, and she's spending less time on the business. So, you know, she's never going to go back to this, I have to make loads and loads of everything to try and fill a market stall and make it look like, you know, I've got something for everyone. Now this online, it's just opened her eyes completely, and she's loving it. And I think there's a lot of businesses like that COVID was the push that they needed, but now that they're there and they're seeing how it works, they're just loving it. And I think if we can just transform our people's idea to shop online but still local, you know, shopping online does not mean you have to shop from overseas websites. And Ireland is the biggest shopper online of overseas websites in the world. 70% of all online sales in Ireland go to overseas companies. And it's madness, because now we can show that Ireland does produce the stuff that you're looking for. It's not always cheaper to shop overseas. There's no customs worries or delivery worries. You're supporting somebody who's going to spend that money back in their local community, and it'll pass on within the country. So I'm really enthusiastic about where shopping in Ireland is going, online or offline. But so I'm, back to your original question, very optimistic for the 12 months ahead. So I'll let Deirdre have her say there.
Deirdre?
I'm exact same. I'm incredibly optimistic about the next 12 months. I have clients that are now in the build up. They're prepping to open. The ones that were closed, they're full of enthusiasm. They've learned harsh lessons through no fault of their own. They're now getting real smart about, you know, their processes. And you know, like, we're all, as Teresa said, we were forced into this situation. And I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing that we were, you know, forced to really review. I think we're quite complacent as a nation. You know, it was so easy to do everything before, just pop into a shop or just shop online from the UK, and who cares about online stuff? And sure, just drop your invoices over to the accountant. Whereas all of a sudden, due to COVID, when they were looking to apply for grants, there was this need for, okay, so I actually have all my finances up to date. That's a bit of an issue. So I think everyone's kind of very appreciative now. There's a different relationship with their clients. There's a different relationship with revenue, I've noticed. Clients are, they're not so afraid of revenue anymore. They see that revenue has really, they give them credit. They've played a blinder, you know, with all the supports that they really pulled together fast. So yeah, definitely, I'm incredibly optimistic. Even for my own business, I thought hard, I thought smart, and I thought fast. I pivoted the business, and no regrets. And I just think onwards and upwards for absolutely everybody.
Okay, so final question for both of you. If you could give one a piece of quick advice, if you don't mind, but or guidance to your clients or other business at this stage in the pandemic, what would that be? Teresa, start with you.
My one piece of advice to anybody going into business in selling in any way, retail, bricks and mortar or anything, is that there has to be an online element to your business. You can't exist in just a market stall holder or a shop owner. You can't have that as your business plan, because online can be integrated into your business. It has to be part of your overall strategy for promoting your business, for selling your products, you know, and it's not a scary place. It doesn't need to be a terrifying move. And I think most people now who were pushed into it to this point, you know, have benefited really well. As Deirdre said, you know, they're really reaping the rewards really of making that push that they were kind of forced into. But anybody in the future and over the next 12 months, if you're thinking about going online, you just need to do it and see it not as a challenge for your business, but for an opportunity for your business, because you're not just relying on the local trade, you're opening yourself up to anybody in Ireland or worldwide to buy from you. So I would totally say grasp online with both hands and just dive in, because that, you know, that's the future. Agreed.
Deirdre, what's your?
Teresa gets to take the much more interesting route. Mine would be just plain old, considering the area I work in, mine would be budget. You know, we don't know what's coming down the road. So I would say to all my clients, like, this incorporates my lean. I always say to them, get lean, get, you know, budget, know your outgoings, know your turnover. And then if I'm going to throw a second thing in, I would say just put yourself out there. Network, get yourself online. I know we keep talking about online, but I think we've all realized it's so important. So look after your finances, do your budgeting, negotiate, whether that be with revenue, your landlords, the county councils regarding your rates. Just mind yourself, mind your own business before you mind anybody else's business, first and foremost.
Fantastic. Thanks, Deirdre. And look, I think with that, I'd just like to thank you both for this fantastic contribution today. We all know that SMEs are going to be the backbone of the recovery in Ireland. So this has been really informative and inspiring to hear directly from our small business customers and partners, and to help, you know, have them share their views. So Teresa and Deirdre, really want to thank you very much for those contributions today. And for everybody else, thanks for tuning into the session today, and enjoy the rest of the business show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.